Item on the agenda last night was to give the engineers the go-ahead to create the construction drawings to basically rebuild the plant.
These guys impressed you in your dealings with them so far?
Yeah, I've dealt with a lot of engineers over the years, and I've just never seen a group of engineers that really dug into it like these guys have and thought of every alternative and every nuance and not only how to do it better, but how to do it less expensive. And most of what's going to happen out on the plant happens within the existing concrete basins that are already there. They're reusing all of that stuff. And we're only really creating 3 new basins, but everything that we're going to do is going to be more effective and efficient from a financial perspective than really I would have ever dreamed. So yeah, they were very, very impressive, and it's not often I say that about engineering firms, architectural firms, or consulting firms.
And some of the things that I guess the biggest problem you mentioned was the oxygen problem.
Yeah, that's the whole issue that we're experiencing is we can't get enough oxygen into the mix. Most people don't know. They look out there and they see a bunch of mechanical apparatuses and they think that that's treating the wastewater, but that's really just helping the whole process. The process itself is biological. We have billions upon billions of little microorganisms that you can only see under a microscope that are actually consuming the solids in the wastewater mix. And they do a tremendous job if they're getting oxygen. If they're not getting oxygen, they die or slow down and at any rate become ineffective. And the nature of our wastewater stream has changed over the decades to the point that there's a pretty heavy industrial component to it, and our plant is no longer able to meet its design parameters at 5.4 million gallons. We're treating 3.2 million gallons a day, and it's all we can do to keep that stuff to where it passes muster. But this introduces a lot more oxygen because we have more basins devoted to it, and the manner in which we introduce the oxygen is improved as well. So we'll be in a lot better shape when we're done.
Sound like a big part of it, you kind of described it as a grit removal in the early process.
Well, that's part of it. And you want to remove, this is going to be too more descriptive than most people want, but you're trying to remove the bigger chunks and the medium-sized chunks and then the grit before anything else goes through the plant. And there's, we end up with bricks and 2x4s and everything down to sand and seeds in the mix, and you want to remove that in what they call the headworks, the first stop in the wastewater treatment process.
What about the price? It looked like if you get everything that's on the plan as presented, 18.8 million.
Yeah, it's including an inflation factor. By the time we get to doing it, it's an 18-point-something million dollar project. And so we're going to have to phase it in, but the first phase is going to be the bulk of it. It'll be $14.1 million, and that will leave a couple of things undone that we really would prefer to get done now, and a couple of things that can wait until later. So we're going to have an ad alternate on the contract that we'll have them bid as well when it comes time to bidding the contract, because we anticipate we're getting a loan from the state, and that we'll have the potential to have $5 million of the loan forgiven. And if we get that, we're definitely going to proceed with the ad alternate, and the headworks were the ad alternate, or at least the bulk of it, and also some improvements to the primary clarifiers. And that's probably more information than the average citizen really cares to know about the wastewater plant, but it's a very big part of what we do.
Yeah, you think about a 1970s model, anything working in this day, and you're looking at ancient technology and a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and you know, the technology of wastewater treatment doesn't advance like the technology of computers, but it does advance, and it's been a long time. Mm-hmm. And the advancements have been significant between then and now, and we really have to keep up, not for keeping up's sake, but because we haven't kept up with our wastewater stream. It has changed fundamentally over the years, and it's going to get us into we're in some trouble with TCEQ at the moment. Mm-hmm. If we don't do something, we'll get in serious trouble.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, you could land a couple of new industries or something that are kind of putting a lot of product out there, and we could be in trouble in a big way.
Well, so yeah, this is going to give us some headroom under our permit. That headroom can be eaten up pretty quickly with a couple new industries, or it just could be eaten up gradually over time with the growth of population of the city, and that's just something that we'll have to watch going forward.